What is going on, guys? This is your host with the most, Philly Jim, coming at you guys with another episode of the Read and React Show. Joey Shakes alongside here to throw this thing down and discuss this game against the Seattle Seahawks. Also, some guys could be returning to the field this week that have been nursing injuries. Also, some guys are also still a little bit banged up, so we'll look for them to get to feeling better and being back on the field. But looking forward to a good show tonight and ready to do this thing. So, Joe, how's it going over there?
It is. I've had the football blues. Honestly, I have. I've been trying not to think about what just happened this past week.
Right.
It's been really hard to take it all in, and just how much dysfunction there is between the communication between the front office and the coaching staff. We could definitely tell. We could definitely tell something's going on that we don't know about, and we're starting to figure it out a little bit, piece by piece.
Yep.
So another week, and we're home against the Seahawks, and
absolutely
hoping for a better game plan this week.
Absolutely. So we're going to start the show like we start every single show with the poll question. The poll question is, who do you guys think is the most disappointing Eagles player of the last 5 years? So from 15 to 19 to this year, who do you guys think is the most disappointing Eagles player of the last 5 years? So I put a few options out there. Nelson Aguilar got a lot of votes. Sidney Jones, very disappointing player too. Byron Maxwell, DeMarco Murray, the two big free agent signings in 15. There's a lot of other guys I could throw out there, like Donnell Pumphrey. He was supposed to be the quote-unquote next Darren Sproles, and he never touched the fucking field. And when he did, he was absolutely brutal. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but just let us know, and we'll revisit this topic later. But we're going to go ahead and move on. And the first topic of today's Read and React is going to be about the quarterback, Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz, he's been taking a beating on the field. He definitely took a beating on Sunday. Got hit a lot of times. He was sacked, I believe, 5 times. But Carson Wentz has also been taking a beating from the fans. He's also been taking a beating from the media, people talking about him. And, of course, you guys knew that if the Eagles were not able to win this game, then the Nick Foles, as Philly 500 refers to it as the Folesian Society, we're going to be out in full force. So there's been a lot of talk about Foles this week. And but Carson Wentz, I even made a video this week about him because I just feel like the fans they're doing too much to defend this guy. And Carson Wentz, I think, is a great quarterback, and there's not many other quarterbacks that I would take right now under the age of 30. If you told me to take these guys that are under 30 years old right now, I'm looking at how well Lamar Jackson has looked this year, and Deshaun Watson definitely up there as well. Even Dak Prescott has gotten better this year. Patrick Mahomes, of course. So there's a lot of good guys right now out there, but other than Patrick Mahomes, there's not really another guy that I think has the level of skill and talent and ability. And I think Patrick Mahomes is probably the only one of those quarterbacks that I named that has as high of a ceiling as Carson Wentz. So when it comes to Carson Wentz, it goes both ways. If we praise Carson Wentz because he's an unbelievable playmaker, he can do all kinds of crazy shit on the field. But when he plays the way he did, and he missed several throws in that game, easy throws. Now, this is the problem I have with Wentz, is that he is an unbelievable playmaker, and he will make every single throw that you're like, how the fuck is it possible to make that throw? But it's like, at times, it's like dudes are wide open in the flat, and he can't complete like a 3-yard pass. We joke around about dinking and dunking all the time. A lot of quarterbacks get roasted for dinking and dunking and not really taking the big shots down the field. But you know what, Carson, he could do a little dinking and dunking. I think he could do. I think it would help his game a lot. I think he would become a really very much complete quarterback. But I think the criticism that has been coming at Carson Wentz has been to a. I think it's been justifiable. I really do. He has to bounce back and play better. But people freaking out. People are, I feel like, are going too far to try to defend this guy. It's really not that. It's really not that bad. It's not the end of the world. The New England Patriots have statistically one of the best passing defenses ever. So, I mean, a lot of quarterbacks have had a rough game against them, and a lot of great quarterback, even great, the best of the best, even Aaron Rodgers, even Tom Brady, even Breeze, and all these guys that are top quarterbacks in the league and have been for years. These guys have had their fair share of rough outings as well. So, every time that happens, you don't see people going leaps and bounds and even reaching to a point to defend Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is our quarterback. He's going to be here for many years to come. He's had a few rough outings. I think he needs to learn how to step up in these big games. Big game against Dallas was that was a big game. It was on national television. So was this one. So we really need him to play better. I would say he deserves a lot of the blame for the loss on Sunday. But to close out what I'm going to say, he deserves a lot of the blame, but outside of those two games, I think Carson has played more than well enough for us to win these football games. And if two plays are made and this team's 7-3, I don't think people are going as far as they are to really bury this kid right now. But that's the way things happen in the NFL. But to close, I just want to say he deserves a lot of the blame. Probably most of the blame for those two games. But other than that, he's played very well. And these coaches, they're just not doing enough to put this guy in the right situation. There's a problem. I think there's few problems that need to be addressed with this team. The front office did not do enough, especially at the trade deadline. We really should have added another threat on the outside, and we weren't able to do that. And then the coaching, you put J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in the game. People they've been talking for weeks about how they wanted to see this kid, and he finally comes in and he catches a 30-yard pass, and you take him out for the rest of that drive pretty much. I think he came in for another 2 or 3 plays, but essentially you just took him out after he made one of the biggest plays of the game. Pretty much looked like our most poised wide receiver that entire game because we all know it's been very bad. But then the receivers deserve a lot of blame, a lot of drops, a lot of plays didn't go our way because guys just can't hold on to the ball. So that being said, Carson has to step up and he has to play a lot better against these big teams. And I think he does deserve the criticism that he's getting, at least for that game this past week. But other than that, some people are going too far to wring this guy's neck and bury him, and a lot of people are going way too far to defend him when they really don't have to do that. So, Joe, I don't know what you have to say about Carson Wentz this week, but I'm going to let you go ahead and take the floor for a few minutes and let us know what you think about this.
All right. Well, this is my point of view. So when I say I'm just taking it from my perspective, okay? So,
of course,
this is my quarterback. This is the guy. I know what he could do. I know what the talent he has. And you know what? Maybe what we don't have around him is a guy like Frank Reich. I understand that was a huge difference when he left, but maybe the quarterback coaches aren't doing the right thing. The wide receiver coaches are not doing the right thing, and Mike Rowe is not doing the right thing behind anybody. Because what I saw this past week was the most petty-looking team I've ever seen. It just seemed like we don't even know how to play football. The last drive that Carson Wentz had, yeah, he threw some really bad, easy passes, like just regular dump off passes, dink and duck passes that were too high, literally out of reach. A shallow cross by Aguilar, and Wentz throws it, gets tipped, and it's like, what the hell? The one time somebody's open. But I uploaded a video about Brian Baldinger, from ESPN. He put up some videos of what the Eagles looked like on Sunday. And let me tell you something. I don't know, and I love watching his videos because he's, number one, he was an offensive lineman for years, played for a few teams, and the guy knows his stuff. And you literally saw wide receivers. You saw Dallas Goedert playing as an outside freaking receiver. And you literally saw the route combinations make no sense. Like, the route combination. So when you're a wide receiver on the line, you have your route. You have to give away your route for someone else to get the ball, or you're going to go get the ball regardless. So these route combinations, I don't get it. Like there was one play where Goddard was on the outside. He ran like a 5-step stunt. Like it was like just he went upfield for like 5 seconds. Aguilar and Jordan Matthews on the bottom just did go routes. And then I don't even know what the hell, how is anybody supposed to get open regardless of any, I just don't get how anyone's supposed to get open, like at all. I don't get it. And you know what? Like, if Carson has to run a certain play and go a certain way, then that's what he has to do. But it looks like crap. We're not prepared. We're not ready. And honestly, I'm not even trying to fast forward to this right now, but this game, I'm not happy about facing Russell Wilson this week. I'm sorry, but Russell Wilson makes his wide receivers look very, very good with how long he can extend plays on his feet. Because you take Russell Wilson away from that offense, what do you really have? So not to go too far into it, but just an example of what you mean. Just an example of what we're coming to this week, and it's just like. The Patriots did not look good at all. Like they literally got trick plays on us. Like they honestly, and here's the thing too. Like I'm not even trying to put much on the defense at all either, because honestly, defense played great. I mean, I have to say they played absolutely fantastic.
They've been playing great too for several weeks now.
Oh yeah. I think, they were, I mean, I'd be pissed off if I was one of those defenders like, yo, like, get offense, get your shit together. Like, I don't know what they're doing. It's not just Carson. And honestly, I defend him 100%. Did he fuck up? Yeah. But any quarterback with these receivers, unless you're a mobile quarterback that can run backwards 20 yards and come around with a big pass, nothing's going to happen. How many times did Carson Wentz extend plays in this game? If you want to talk about, how many times he's thrown, I mean, he's been throwing into tight windows the whole entire game. When did you see, literally?
Yeah. I mean, it also didn't help with the fact that Lane Johnson, the best offensive lineman, one of the best offensive linemen on our team, very big piece of the line, went out in the second quarter. So, I mean, that pretty much made Carson. Jason Peters also went down, so they just kind of threw Big V out there, and Andre Dillard as well. So those two guys just got pretty much thrown out there, and so Carson was pretty much running for his life.
The separation that an example of the separation that we did have Sunday was literally us sitting next to each other at Lincoln Financial Field. That's how much separation these receivers had, and it was not even a 2-yard separation. I mean, not even that much at all. Okay. Lane Johnson comes out, and you know what? I would listen to John McMullen the other day, and I said to myself, this guy's fucking right, because you know what he said? He said, this team is emotionally attached to too many fucking players, number one. Number two, they pick veterans over young players all the time. Andre Dillard, why didn't he cross-train at all? Why didn't he even cross-train? Now, I understand that he's a left tackle of the future, but why didn't he at least cross-train? See, this is what I don't get. And they put Big V in there. They put a guy that they know that can go in there. But they don't put the best guy out there, or at least with these young guys. Why isn't Nelson Aguilar benched? Why isn't he benched? He has done nothing for weeks. He has screwed up games. He has dropped the Vikings game, the Falcons game, and we could probably put this game in there too.
The Lions game.
The Lions game. The biggest catches of the year he has dropped. He cannot be the go-to guy, because when Alshon Jeffrey was out, we said, okay, we're down a receiver. Nelson is getting his chance to shine. He's going to be a free agent after this year. He's going to play for himself and, kind of give everybody a little bit of a highlight reel, see what he could do.
We were wrong about that one.
He can't do it. Okay. I'm sick and tired of not. Who the hell is on practice squad? Put someone else in there that's more hungry for it. Put somebody else that's more hungry for it. I don't get why they just don't. And then I have to read an article. 2-3 days ago? It was before the game or a day before the game, whatever it was. That now they're working on extensions for Zach Ertz, Malcolm Jenkins, and all right, Lane Johnson's fine. I'll do an extension for Lane Johnson, but for Malcolm Jenkins, you know what, Zach Ertz, with the whole Zach Ertz thing, like extending him, honestly, I don't even fucking care at this point. Like, Dallas Goedert is our guy. I mean, why did we draft Dallas Goedert to be the second tight end of the future? Is that why we drafted him? Is that why? But I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like they are just holding on to these friggin' players. You know what? No, it's done with Nelson Aguilar. It's done. I'm officially done with him. It's fucking over. He can't even. He's pretty much the fastest guy that we have. I mean, literally, they put him on the outside. He can't even do anything. So whatever plays are drawing up, whatever route combinations they're drawing up for these plays, they're not working. I swear to God, like. And then, if your offensive line does a good job, and Wentz is literally back there, and he's waiting, and nothing happens. But not saying Carson is going to fuck up. Any quarterback is going to fuck up with these receivers. I mean, he was trying, and Wentz is a try hard. He really he tries so hard to make a big play every time. He doesn't give up. So I give that respect. But you know what? For all the people that are putting him in the fucking trash can, there's some YouTubers out there have been talking shit, putting him in the fucking trash can. So I don't have respect for any of those fucking guys at all. Don't fucking care. And you know what? Your opinion is your opinion, but this guy's our future. This guy, thank God this guy's already got paid. Thank God this is out of the way. Thank God they got it done early. I'm glad. But Howie Roseman, this was a big fail this year. A big fail for being, number one, being too cautious. Number two, not taking a damn risk on anybody. I mean, we're seeing here at the trade deadline, we're going to get somebody. We're always going to get somebody at the trade deadline. And what happens? Literally nothing. You won't even give up a second-round pick for a deep threat, thinking that Deshaun Jackson was coming back. Did they even know that Deshaun Jackson was going to get surgery? I mean, it sounded like at the press. See, I can't even believe these press conferences. I didn't watch Mike Groh this week. I didn't watch Doug Peterson this week. I don't care what they have to say. All I could believe in are these two eyes looking at what I'm looking at this fucking team and how they're portraying, what this offense is supposed to be. We have no identity. And then you go out and sign Jay Ajayi. And because he only practiced Friday, they said, we're just going to keep him out of the game and put Boston Scott in there, which is fine. Boston Scott, I like Boston Scott, not as like a guy that's going to get a lot of reps in the backfield. No, because we don't need him to get a lot of reps in the backfield. Okay.
That's what was stupid about Sunday. I'm glad you brought that up. But a lot of people were so up in arms leading up to this game. They were like, oh, my God, Jordan Howard's out, so we don't have a lead back, and Miles Sanders can't handle the workload. Well, Miles Sanders was absolutely gashing the New England Patriots defense, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. And then they completely stopped using him the entire rest of the game.
Yep.
In the second half, he had 4 fucking touches, and they gave Boston Scott all the carries, and Jay Ajayi was on the sideline. That is 1,000%. You can't blame Carson Wentz at all for that because you're asking him to throw the ball 40 fucking times. Miles Sanders was he was the guy that you really needed to get involved early and often, and they did. And then they had success with it. We're up to a 10-0 lead, and they're like, "Oh, okay, Miles, we're just not gonna fucking use you the entire rest of the game." And we lost. So that not on Carson.
Even Doug even mentioned before the game, we have Henderson too. He's another running back we have on the practice squad. It's like, why are you even talking about players that are never going to play? Why do you talk about players when they're never even in the game or even dressed for the game? Why even waste your damn time? Who is lying? Who is telling the truth? Who is full of shit right now? And there has got to be something between the front office and the coaches. There's got to be something going on, because honestly, are they taking these losses like, it's okay, we'll wait till next week? I mean, literally, we're letting the division go straight out of our hands, and I don't even see us making a damn wild card game. I don't see us making a wild. I see at least at least the Rabs, the Vikings, someone's going to get into the wild card, and it's not going to be us, because we play piss poor like this in front of our crowd. I'm telling you, I don't know how long this can go on, but I'm so burnt out. That's why, like, I could have watched Mike Groh this week. I could have watched all, but
Absolutely.
why? For what? For what? To be, and then what Mike Groh had to say that Nelson hasn't regressed. Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. That is a bunch of bullshit.
Not only did he say Nelson hasn't regressed, the best thing he could come up with at his press conference was, we're going to hurt. we're going to work harder this week than we did the week before. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You sit back and you give this cliche high school varsity team bullshit. That's what a fucking high school coach, that's the type of shit he says the fucking 15, 16-year-old kids playing football. You say, oh, we're going to put our heads down and we're going to go to work. And that's the fucking best thing you can come up with. Oh, we're going to work harder this week than we fucking did last week.
What a fucking piece of garbage.
It's a joke, man.
That guy does not know how to fucking coach. That guy does not know how to have a game plan against a defense. This guy doesn't even know how to use fucking Golden Tate like he did last year. You're telling me I can't even – I just can't. Like, I'm just so burnt out over this crap. Yeah. Like, football was so hard to even – doing videos was so hard to do this week because of just there's so much dysfunctional bullshit. We won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. We shouldn't be in this fucking position with the receivers now. After 2016, we were like, we shouldn't even be going through this. We shouldn't have quarterback problems. We shouldn't have, not even quarterback problems, but we shouldn't have play calling and Jesus Christ, like bring in a friggin' OC and bring in a new wide receiver coach and bring in some new quarterback coaches that give a shit and know how to use Carson Wentz to his strengths, not his weaknesses, because him staying in the pocket is not going to do much, especially when you have guys that are running the same routes, go routes, and then, putting Dallas Goedert on the outside to run 2 yards and just stand there. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just totally ridiculous.
And not to mention completely taking out your most effective player the entire game, Miles Sanders. I mean, he was our most effective player, and they just said, hey, you know what? Yeah, you really gashed the Patriots defense on that scoring drive, but we're not going to give you any more fucking carries, which really pisses me off, and it's all – Doug Peterson deserves blame for this too. It's not just Mike Rowe, but the biggest problem for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2019 is absolutely – it's Mike Groh. And I've been on Jim Schwartz's ass this year, and I've even said I don't want him back. But I got to give Jim Schwartz a lot of fucking credit for these last 3 games. This defense has come alive. I don't know where this was before, but Jalen Mills coming back. Jalen Mills has played his absolute
off. Oh, God, yes.
I would be more than happy to give him like a 2-year extension right now. Even Darby was really getting beat early in the season, and he got injured. Since he's come back, he's given up a few plays, but but compared to what it was like before, he's played phenomenal. So the corners, the defense are doing a great job. The pass rush, we're getting sacks, we're getting pressures, we're getting teams off the field. So I got to give Jim Schwartz credit. I mean, for what he's had to deal with, he's hung in there and he's taken the punches, and he's a good defensive coordinator. So if he wants to stay around, then I would love for him to stay around. But the obvious problem is Mike Groh. And if we're able to get some good quarterbacks coaches like we had in Mike DiFilippo and get a good offensive coordinator like we had in Frank Reich, I think Carson Wentz can return to the old Carson Wentz. But Howie Roseman also has to do the right things. I'm looking at my GM. It's like I said earlier, don't add any threats on the outside. And then this shit happened, and you pretty much put all your eggs in the one basket of a 32-year-old receiver who has had a lot of injury problems in his history. So, there's plenty of fucking blame to go around. But nonetheless, the Eagles are still alive, and they are not dead yet. And it all starts this Sunday. So that's why we're going to move on to the injury report before we get into this game. So basically – go ahead, Joe.
Let me add one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, cut you off.
No, you're good.
Here's the difference. Whenever you throw something at Jim Schwartz, he does everything in his power. He knows the strength and weaknesses of every player that he has. He had Rudy Ford, a safety that we traded for that's a special teamer. We had Rudy Ford in the nickel when Avante got a little bit banged up in the game Sunday. Rudy Ford went right in and played well. Jim Schwartz, he said he played very well. Whatever you throw at Jim Schwartz, and look, when Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills are playing together, there's like a record. It's a good record. I forgot, like 13, 14, and I forgot what it was, but it's really good. And I don't know why. It just works. And like you said, Jalen Mills, other than he had having a pick six in 2017, this is probably his best year in coverage. Probably his best year in coverage, because when he went up and went up and hit that ball, and he looked really, and he's not getting beaten 60, 70 yards. Like, he's not getting beaten at all. But whatever you throw at Jim Schwartz, he always finds a way to make it work within the defense. He's not like, oh my God, I don't know how to use him in this. I know defense and offense, I know it's different sides, but it's just an example of whatever you throw. If Jim Schwartz has no corners, he'll make it work. If he doesn't have any linebackers, he'll make it work. If he's down a few defensive linemen, he'll make it work. But you know what? Now I realize that Jim Schwartz is probably not the problem. He was only given a certain amount of players he can use. And if the Eagles don't trade for anybody, then it's not his fault. He's got to use whatever he's got and to put up some type of fight in a game. So if it comes down to Jim Schwartz, that guy knows how to use everybody. It doesn't matter. Craig James goes into a game, he wins a game for us with a pick. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, he knows how to just put players in and how to use them. So that's all I got to say about that.
Right. Yeah, I guess we're pretty much in agreement with that. But we'll go ahead and move on, and we'll find this injury report. So basically, what we have here is we have Nelson Aguilar did not practice with a knee injury, and he grabbed his knee at the end of that play, that fourth down play with the final heave to try to tie that game up that was dropped. But he did not practice. He had a knee injury. Lane Johnson still in concussion protocol, according to Doug Peterson. So he might not play, and if he doesn't play, they said that they're going to start Andre Dillard at right tackle, and Jason Peters will start at left tackle, and then Big V is going to be the backup. He's going to be the swing tackle there, and then Nigel Bradham. He was a full participant, so Nigel Bradham shouldn't make his return to the field. Alshon Jeffrey, Jordan Howard, progressing, but no one. It's very early to tell if they're going to be able to play at all. But that's not as bad as it could be. I think we could get some of these guys back, but the biggest piece is Lane Johnson. That'll be the biggest hit for us. So hopefully Jeff Stoutland and these guys, this coaching staff, have him ready to play on that other side. He played well when he filled in for Jason Peters. Can he do the same for Lane Johnson?
Yeah, no. You said Alshon Jeffrey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's
limited
what?
participant.
All right, so maybe he has a shot at playing. I don't care. Aguilar can just fucking sit. I don't care. I honestly don't care. I don't. Nigel Bradham coming back. It's another guy, and honestly, I was very happy with our linebackers. Like Nathan Gary, he missed a tackle in the backfield. And I missed one. He actually had the guy, and he just dropped him. Had a sack on Tom Brady. Cam Moo did a really good job Sunday. Cam Moo was just everywhere, and this is a guy that's on the final year of his contract. Another guy that's on the final year of his contract. And Cam Moo's been playing really well. A special teamer that's molded into a good linebacker. Then you have Nate Gary that was a safety. It's finally, I think this year, he kind of molded fully into a linebacker. Yeah, it took a couple years, but hey, he's playing pretty good. He makes the calls. All these guys can make the calls, but Nigel Bradham comes in. You're bringing a guy that hits pretty damn hard, a guy that can call the play, a guy that can call the defense, and he's resilient. So I'm happy with that. Lane Johnson being out, it's a big hit. Of course, Andre Dillard's going to have a lot on his hands. I'm okay with the injury report is what it is, but Lane Johnson is the big hit pretty much. Hopefully Alshon can at least come back. If he's not fully healthy, he might as well just not even play. someone else a damn chance in this damn game. Have somebody, I don't even know why you have a practice squad guy. I don't even know why you have guys that are sitting there like waiting for their chance. But no, we're just going to play the same guys and go through the same crap. Just like how Nelson got benched, before that Green Bay game, a couple years ago, you know what I mean? And, screwed up so damn badly. So someone's going to have to get if it's me, I'd bench. I'd bench him, at least make him think, make him sit there and really, because it's either he's too in his head again for the millionth time, or because honestly, as a receiver in the league, you can't be doing this every year. Like, if you want to get paid, you can't be going up season, down season, down season, down season, up season. You can't be doing that. I mean, he only has like 300 yards. He's looking like actually he's worse right now than 2016. He actually, I think if I read it, I think he's like 30-something yards less than his 2016 year. And that's really bad. He's almost coming to his total from 2016, which is horrible. I know I'm talking about Nelson Aguilar too much. It's just pissing me off. So
Pro Football Focus said Nelson Aguilar is the worst receiver in the NFL this year.
I believe it. don't.
And what they did was they ranked 128 guys, and he was 128th. That's how bad he's been. I think Nelson Aguilar, this is the worst he's played in his career. You can go to 16. You can go to his rookie year in 15. Both of those years, he was fucking terrible. This year, this is the worst I've ever seen. I mean, I remember him dropping wide open passes before, but it was never at the level that it's been at this year. And it's just been bad. So if he doesn't play, someone else on the roster is gonna have a chance. So I don't know who that person is gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be Whiteside. I don't know. I don't know if Greg Ward plays, if they bring him up, or I don't know what happens if Aguilar isn't able to go. But it's just been completely brutal this year with Nelson Aguilar. And I've been done with him for a lot longer than you have. I mean, after that Lions game, I had seen all I needed to see, and no one even thought it could get worse. But not only did it get worse, it got way worse. So this shit is just a horrible situation to be in. So the Eagles, they got to be able to run the football and hope that guys come up and the Eagles are able to get like the middle of the field working with the two tight ends, because other than that, our receivers are not doing much. But
did Mac Hollins have a reception?
No, but Carson Wentz missed him when he was wide ass open.
Yeah, but screw him. But screw that though. I don't even care about that. I mean, I care about that, but yeah, one pass. He couldn't even do anything the rest of the game. Screw that. He's another waste. I can't even.
I mean, I totally agree. But this is a terrible fucking situation to be in. I don't even know what I can say that I haven't already said. So I guess we'll move on to this game. And so the Eagles are 5-5. They are actually 1.5 point favorites in this game, which is kind of weird, considering how we've looked, especially on the offense, as we've pretty much said a lot tonight. But 1.5 point favorites. You're at home. Pretty much a must-win game. I mean, it's not a must-win game, but you really need to win this game, to be honest. Because I'm not just looking at it from a perspective that, we can lose this game and we can still win the division. After we play Seattle, we don't play any good teams. And no, Dallas crushed us, but I still wouldn't consider them a good team. I mean, you're talking about a team that had to rally late to come from behind victory against the Lions, who didn't have Matthew Stafford.
Right.
Then team that lost to the Jets. One of the only two teams the Jets have beaten this year. So I mean, after this, you don't play any good teams, but that can be a good thing, and it is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. What I mean by that is this game against the Seattle Sehawks, this is the Philadelphia Eagles' last chance to make a statement, get a statement win. We had one against Green Bay. The Cowboys, they had one against us. But what we need to get another win against a good opponent to not only get confidence in this team, to send a message to the National Football League that Philadelphia Eagles are not going out this way. So what they need to do is they need to rally together and they need to fight and they need to go out and win this game. And they can win this game. This is a winnable game, just like last game was a winnable game. Like we played in a lot of winnable games this year. But Carson Wentz has to play a lot better. The coaching has to be better. A lot of things have to be better. Russell Wilson has never lost against us. He's 4-0 against us. 3 of those games have been in Seattle, though. One of them was in Philadelphia in 2014 when Mark Sanchez was starting quarterback. So this is the first time Russell's been back to Philly since they were coming off their Super Bowl year. So this game is winnable. The Eagles defense has played very, 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 very well for ever since that Cowboys game. That's the last game that they really, truly got torched, and there was a lot of turnovers and shit that went completely disastrous for us in that game. But other than that, you have 3 straight games where you're not giving up a lot of points. Matter of fact, you're barely giving up any points. You're barely giving up any yards. The defense is actually top 10 in yards allowed, and we're not that bad in points allowed anymore. We were giving up a lot of points, obviously, but ever since, it's like we said, Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby, this duo plays out of this world together. The pass rush has been great. Brandon Graham has been great. Fletcher Cox has been great. All these guys up front are getting the job done. So what you have to do is you got to find a way to keep this guy in. You gotta have a spy. You got to have a linebacker that's there for contain. You got to stop this guy from getting outside the pocket. Matter of fact, what you want to do is you want to collapse it around him so he doesn't really have anywhere to go. So with that being said, the Seattle Seahawks defense has been surprisingly really bad. A lot of people thought with the acquisition of Jadeveon Clowney that this Seahawks defense would be a force to be reckoned with, and that has not been the case. They are the 28th total ranked defense. So Carson Wentz, if there's going to be one game where he can go out and he'll get his chance to throw the ball down the field, it's going to be against this pass defense for the Seattle Seahawks. And if I asked you guys right now, who do you think has the better pass defense, the Eagles or the Seahawks? Most people would say the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
That could be further from the truth. The Eagles are actually I think we're all the way up to 17th or 18th against the pass now after being dead last. And
wow.
The Seahawks are around 28th. So that just goes to show you Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby, Vontae Maddox, since he's been back, these guys have come to play. So really, I see this game being on the offense. The offense has to drive down the field, put points on the board. If they do that, it's not going to be easy to slow down Russell Wilson, but if you just continue to play the level you have, you are going to have a chance to win this game in the end. So I think it's a very winnable game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And looking ahead, if you win this game, the last good team you really play all year. The only other game that's truly a must win is the you need to obviously you need to win the rest of these games, but as far as you got to beat this team no matter what, is the Dallas Cowboys, because that game is probably going to be for who reps the East in the playoffs. But if you win this game, then I'd see us running the table. I said the same thing last week. If we beat New England and we beat Seattle, I see us going 12-4. Well, we didn't beat New England, but if we beat Seattle, same thing really. We're going to run the table 11-5. We'll be the 4 seed in the playoffs. So, Joey Shakes, those are my thoughts on the game. You go ahead.
Yeah, we all know what Russell Wilson could do, okay? We've always had trouble against mobile quarterbacks regardless, and it's got to be a perfect pass rush. It's got to be literally both sides have to be closing, because if you give a little bit of space, he's going to run all over the field. And, he's got great receivers. I mean, all across the board, that offense has got some really good players. The offensive line is it's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's not that good either. So you could do some good damage. Defense could do some good damage, but I agree with what Jim said. Pretty much saying it all on the table right now. It's really on this offense, and if Nelson Aguilar's a no go, if Alshon Jeffrey is, we could be without two receivers, maybe one receiver. I don't know, but they need to come up with a nice game plan. And I did not know that the Seahawks were. I haven't really checked this week. It's just been a crazy week. So, I'm glad that our coverage is getting a lot better, and the guys are putting in the work. So our defense is only getting more. You're getting Braden back, just another plus for this defense. This is in front of another home crowd this week, and they just need to show what they got. They really just need to show what they could do. And the fans know what's going on. They know the fans are pissed off. The coaches know. I mean, I just don't want to be embarrassed anymore. I really don't. There were 7 games, at least seven games this year where we lost by a possession. We lost by literally a catch this year. It's crazy how we should have been at least 5-1 coming out at the beginning of the year. We should have at least had that this year. But unfortunately, it just happens. And I'm glad that, maybe this is happening now. That means we know what our weaknesses are on this football team. And, in the near future, changes will get made. Now, a lot of changes are going to be made this year. At least I'm hoping so, for 2020. So, they just going to have to fight. I mean, they literally just going to have to fight. I'm not worried about the defense too much now. Look, I'm not going to say that their defense is going to look the exact way it did last week, but for showing up against Tom Brady like that, it's pretty damn good. And they've done it multiple weeks, and Jim Schwartz has bailed this offense out. I mean, how many times did the Patriots get it on the 50-yard line? We're backed up to our 2-5-yard line, and, we got to punt the ball, and it goes, we even had a bad punt. We had a bad punt, and we still stopped them. So, I mean, at this point, I think Fletcher Cox is 100%. He looked 100%. I mean, that's guaranteed. Look at Fletcher Cox beginning of the year to now. I mean, that bye week really did a good job. So, this is a defensive line without Malik Jackson on top of it. I can't wait to get him back next year. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait to get him back next year. But for this game, I just think they, offensively, they just need to figure it out. I don't know what the answer is. I honestly don't. Like, you're either going to show up or you're going to draw some plays where it's don't make Carson's job any harder than it already is. And especially, Jordan Matthews, did he even have a reception last week either?
I don't even know.
I don't even think so. He was targeted, maybe 3-4 times during the game? But that was it.
Drops.
He's got nothing. And you know what? And if Alshon Jeffrey comes back, I need that electricity from Alshon Jeffrey. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing videos. Philadelphia Eagles upload videos of how he works hard, and he had that video of himself working hard this year and what he's been doing. But then on the field, I'm like, what is he doing? If he's hurt, then don't play. If you're hurt, don't force yourself to play. I mean, it is what it is. It's just crazy, but I don't want to rely on a deep threat into Deshaun Jackson, even if we did have him back. I didn't want to rely on that for our offense to open up a little bit. We need receivers that are hungry dogs out there, but honestly, Jim, these receivers can only do so much, and it may be the game plan or Mike Rowe's plan or whatever the hell they got these guys running out there, but at the same time, they can't do much more than what they can already do. So, if I'm not seeing receptions from players, that's concerning. It's concerning that they can't go out. It's concerning they can't get separation at all whatsoever. Mac Hollins, don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just done. He's got to go too. I'm just tired of it. It's over. Aguilar, I've given up. He can make some catches here and there, but it's not enough. He made a catch where he literally caught the ball right next to the guy and he went up to the ground. It's like, oh damn, he caught it for a first down. Holy shit! We're literally. Every time Carson hikes the ball, I have to hold my breath because I'm like, we're scratching for yards. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I'm just like, he gets the ball in his hands. I'm literally dying inside every time he has the ball because I don't know what's going to happen. I can't feel comfortable with this offense. I just can't. My mind, I just can't feel comfortable with it. But they need to figure it the hell out and go in this game. They need to prove they need to prove the league wrong, and they need to prove to the fans that they're willing to fight for the rest of this year. Because I'm just hoping to God that it's not going to look good. It's Doug already said after that game on Sunday that it made it's got to be better coaching, and he knows that there's something wrong. And he's known that there's something wrong, but they're not going to say it. So we're just gonna have to see. I don't have the answer. I want to win badly. I really want this win. This would be a huge win, and then you go face. You got the Dolphins, you got the Giants twice, the Cowboys. I mean, you're set up perfectly.
Yep. Just win. That's all we got to do. It's not going to be easy, but it's like I said. I think this is an extremely winnable game. Seattle, they're 8-2, but they played a lot of close games, and they've come out on the other side on a lot of these games on the road. But they play a lot better at home than they do on the road, and it's like I said, their defense can be exploited. So it's up to Doug to make the right decisions. So hopefully things go well for us. So we're going to close the show. We're going to revisit the poll question. So the most disappointing Eagles player of the last 5 years, according to you guys, it's Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar got most of the votes. Second place was Sidney Jones. And then you had Marcus Smith in third. Then you had Byron Maxwell. Then you had DeMarco Murray. But there's a lot of other guys you could throw out there, too. Mac Hollins, honorable mention. Dorial Green-Beckham, honorable mention. There's a lot of hype about him when that trade happened because the guy had a lot of potential coming out of college. But the reason why he fell in draft was because, he had too many off-the-field issues. Donnell Pumphrey, whoever going to be the fucking next version of Darren Sproles, never got on the field. And when he did get on the field, he was absolutely fucking brutal. So he never played. And not to mention, that draft class was one of the best draft classes ever. There was a lot of guys, even undrafted guys, who are starting for teams like Chris Carson, who's the running back for the Seattle Seahawks. He's been good for them. So, I mean, it's been pretty bad. But if I had to pick one, it's really hard. It's really hard, but I'm going to go with Sidney Jones here. The reason why I'm going to go with Sidney Jones is when we were on the clock, a lot of people wanted Joe Mixon, a lot of people wanted Dalvin Cook, and all these players were still there. Alvin Kamara also. So a lot of big names still on the board for the Eagles, and they decided to roll the dice with Sidney Jones. And what they really were trying to do was, all right, this guy had top 10. He was going to be a top 10 pick if he wouldn't have got hurt at his pro day. Well, he got hurt at his pro day. He was never the same fucking player. Never lived up to the expectations, the hype. He was supposed to be the corner of the future that we've been waiting for, and he was the exact opposite. In fact, he is one of the most brutal players in Philadelphia Eagles history, in my opinion. The guy he's just unbelievably bad at playing football. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways you go, but Sidney, he was supposed to be a top 10 pick, and he was the exact opposite. And it was rough because when you're drafting, it doesn't matter. Like if you miss on a few fourth round picks, you'll be okay. If you miss on fifths and sixths, it's not going to hurt you too much. But if you completely whiff on a second round pick, you can't do that. You're really putting yourself in a bad situation if you do that. So my vote is Sidney Jones. Who gets your vote, Joe?
I probably have to go. I'd probably go the same just because he was drafted high. I think there's a lot of votes for Nelson Aguilar just because I think there's a lot of emotion more in it with that answer. I think people were voted very frustrating with that vote. I think people got a little pissed off and just honestly, I'd probably do the same thing at that moment after Sunday. Yeah, I probably would have. I didn't vote at all, but I probably would have.
He's one of the most disappointing players.
Yeah, I think he's
I definitely also think he's a bust. I've said that several times, but I think you got to go with Sydney here. I mean, with the only other argument you can make it for Marcus Smith, that was one of the worst picks that we've had probably ever. But with Marcus Smith, it was more of just a reach, other than just being completely disappointing. The rest of these guys, extremely disappointing. But I would say Sydney's got to be at the top of that list.
Yeah, even you put in DeMarco Murray, he just didn't fit with our offense. Kelly at the time, he's north and south runner. He was running east and west. Didn't work out. Whole team was a mess at that point. Byron Maxwell got a big contract, was a product of the Seattle defense when they won the Super Bowl, and he was going to get paid. And he had like a 6 year. The Eagles signed him like six years, $68 million. I think the deal was like $68 million, something like that. And he was just that Seattle defense was so good all around. He was just one weak piece that had very good production because he had very good players around him. Once he came to Philadelphia, he pretty much gave up almost 200 yards to Julio Jones, I think, his first fucking game. So, that's another thing. Now Snagler, we know what's going on with that. And Sidney Jones, yeah, honestly, he tore that Achilles. Literally, he was at his pro day and he was done with practice and he wanted one more extra rep, and that one extra rep he took tore his Achilles. And I don't know if he would have been the same player. I have no idea. But I was happy when we got him a second round. I was like, oh, good. I was like, he's going to rehab. He's going to, come back fresh. And honestly, Sidney Jones has been a disappointment, not just on the field, but just injuries, just constant. He came into this season healthy as hell. And when he played in preseason, he didn't look good at all. People were like, it's preseason, blah, 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 blah. Everybody was like, it's sweeping under the rug. Who cares? And then when he started playing, it was just bad. He can't play outside. He can't play inside. He's just bad. He's just bad. Kevin King was what, 4th or 5th round pick, and he played opposite of fucking Sidney Jones, and he plays for the Packers, and he's playing really, really well. So we're just not getting that. We're just not doing well with the draft. And maybe Howie wants to save these picks, go into this draft. I mean, as of right now, since the Patriots game, we would have the 17th overall pick of the draft right now. Mm-hmm. So, going forward, I hope we're winning games for a reason, and I hope they just have to start this on Sunday. They just have to keep it going. So that's it for me. I'm good.
I mean, I don't know if I would say Howie Roseman cannot, he flat out can't fucking draft whatsoever, because he has drafted some really good players.
Right.
He's also he's never had a draft where you're like, holy fucking shit. And that's what we need to see. And you know what? If you're Howie Roseman, if you want to fix this fucking team, the number one thing you need to do is get receivers. And you can get a number one receiver in this draft, because this is one of the best wide receiver drafts in NFL history. And there's a lot of good guys out there that we could get, a lot of guys that are very fucking fast, which is what we need. And then tack it in free agency, pick up another receiver. Robbie Anderson going to be a free agent. Maybe you bring him in and you hold on to Deshaun. There's going to be Howie. He's going to have to do some shit this offseason.
Hell yeah.
So
there's got to be moves.
The draft is going to be very important, though. You got all these fucking receivers. He's going to have some balls, because all he ever does is draft a lineman in the first round, whether it's defense or offense. He drafts linemen, never drafts skilled players in the first round. He's going to have to stop doing that, even though it's his style. He's going to have to do it, and he's going to have to say, hey, this is one of the best wide receiver drafts of all time. We need a fucking receiver. We need to give Wentz what he deserves. So we're going to give him one of these upper echelon guys. So if you're Howie, that's what you got to do to fix this fucking team. Bring in another offensive coordinator. And 2020 we should be better off, and probably not going to be in this situation like we are right now.
But look what you're looking at right now. People are going to be pissed off about it, but seriously, we drafted Dallas Goedert for a reason. I think that guy has more upside than anything. I think he showed that he could be one. I think last year he was one of the top. He was like a top 5 tight end in blocking. I mean, honestly, He has come a long way. He's got length. He's got size. I think that, Zach Ertz runs better routes. Maybe he's more of a crisp route runner, but he's not far behind him at all. And you know what? If you have to trade Ertz, I would do it. If you want some compensation, you want to move in top of the draft and you want to go get somebody, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind trading Zach Ertz at all. I think you can get a first round and then some. Honestly, if it was up to me, I'd probably do it. But now they want to extend him because they just need to hold on. They just need to hold on to everybody. You know how it is. So
I mean, with this situation, it's a weird situation to be in. I don't know if any other team has two tight ends that are the level of these guys. So on one hand, you took Dallas Goedert for a reason, and he's supposed to be the heir apparent to Zach Ertz. And are you going to keep Ertz until he retires, or is Dallas Goedert eventually going to say, hey, I need to be a fucking starting tight end in this league, and we're either not going to resign him, he's just going to go, or you fucking trade the guy that's younger, which doesn't really make the most sense in the world if you're thinking logically, because Goddard, his career, it can only go up from here, and Ertz has reached the peak of his career. He's still in his prime right now, but if you could get a first round pick, or if you could get another player, I mean, Zach Ertz is a top 3 player at his position probably. So if you can get a player like that, then hell yeah, do it. Or if you can get a first round pick and you can draft 2 of these guys, I would fucking do it. Not really trying to bring any off-season talk, but just for fun at the end of the show. The Rams have got some fucked up cap space. They need to do some shit, but I would love to see the Eagles try to trade for Cooper Kupp and draft a receiver in the first round. And I think if you do that, got some guys that are coming back. Deshaun Jackson, you don't have to rely as much on him to stay healthy as you did this year. You could be in really good shape. So just a little bug I want to put in your guys' ear as we near the end of the year.
That's a really good idea. I like that idea.
I would love that idea.
Take him and then draft a receiver. That's freaking great. That's an awesome idea.
So hopefully Howie watches the stream, and hopefully he can get some ideas from here, Hal. So Howard, if you're watching this, brother, you're welcome. I just told you how to fix the whole fucking team. So anyway, guys, we're gonna head out of here unless you have anything else to say. Thank you guys for attending another episode of the Read and React Show. We'll have post game on Sunday. So hopefully we come out and play with a fire, get the mask, get a win, get above 500, and then look ahead, and it should be smooth sailing from here on out.
Yeah, one more thing I want to say real quick, because we haven't talked about it. J.J.'s contract now, the new clause in his contract. So if he stays on his team for a year, so in the offseason after this year, if J.J., I feel like they're just going with the cheaper option. I'm so pissed. So I feel like the deal for the clause in his contract is pretty much a team needs to, if J.J. is offered a contract from another team, the Eagles have to match that or top that to keep him on the roster. I think that's only if they can't re-sign Jordan Howard, but I just have that feeling that Jordan Howard is going to walk. And if he walks, I am going to be so freaking mad. And I know that there's a lot of contracts like this. It's not like weird. I don't know. Ian Rappaport made it sound like it was a weird thing that they did that, which is not, because a lot of teams do that with players, that if they feel like they need to keep him next year, it is what it is. But, if a team offers J.J. a contract, they either have to match it or top it, keep him on the roster. And if that's the case, then probably Howard will get re-signed. But I really like the Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard duo, and Jordan Howard has been a complete beast for us with this offensive line. So, yeah,
I totally agree. I would love to see us re-sign Howard, but the only problem is I think Howie Roseman doesn't. Him drafting Miles Sanders in the second round says a lot, because he never does shit like that. He does not really value running backs. He doesn't value paying running backs. He doesn't value running backs at all. So the only problem is if Jordan Howard comes back and he's healthy and he balls the fuck out and he has a 1,000-yard season, in a team that he's a running back, there's teams that might pay Jordan Howard top running back money, and Howie Roseman ain't gonna pay nobody, no running back.
Yeah,
he's gonna fucking pay anybody top running back money. He wouldn't pay Le'Veon Bell money. If the fucking Giants cut Saquon Barkley tomorrow, Howie Roseman had enough money to give Saquon whatever the fuck he wants, Howie Roseman would be like, you know what, I'm fucking good with that. I don't want the next Barry Sanders. I'd rather just stick it out with whatever the fuck I do. And I have a bad feeling when Miles Sanders really becomes a Pro Bowl running back, and I think that's going to be a couple of more years down the road. He comes this contract here, I think he's going to fucking bounce. Just because Howie, he does not give a fuck. If there's one position he really doesn't fucking care about, it's running back, and it sucks. So that's the only problem I see. If a team pays Howard top running back money, then we're pretty much fucked. But if they don't, then and we can give Howard a decent salary that he likes now with a certain length of time, then should be okay. I mean, but I really, it hasn't happened yet, but
he's been one of my favorite players, man. He's been one of my favorite players.
I would get a Howard jersey if they re-signed him.
Oh, sure. Yeah, 100%. 2 seconds, I'd buy his jersey.
But yeah, that's the only problem I see with it is how he's a fucking asshole when he doesn't really value paying all these running backs. But anyway, hopefully a few things change with Howie going into this offseason. So that's all I got to say for now. If you're good, I am good. Thank you guys for checking out the show. We'll, like I said, we will be back for the post-game show and then doing this shit every week. So hopefully the Birds come out with some fire, kick some ass, get a big win, get us above 500, and then we got a lot of games left to play, but most of those games are not against very good teams whatsoever. So looking good. If we can win this game, it'll be set up very well.
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, see you guys next time.
All right. See you, man. Peace out, guys.